Good evening. If anyone can hear me, if you could please let me know in the chat box. Fallon, good. Glad you can make it. Thank you for responding. Hi, DB, Gail Washington, Kathy's iPhone. Thank you very much. Lisa M. Glad you could all make it. Give it just a couple more minutes for people to pile in. And give me 1 second here. Any YouTube friends, I am flying solo this evening, so I won't be able to monitor the chat box there very well. So please be patient with me on that side. Okay, we'll give it just another minute or two for people to pour in here. Carmelita, good to see you again. It's been a while. Okay, a little after 7 o'clock. I always like to be punctual and start right on time. I appreciate your time very much, especially on a Wednesday evening. Beautiful day today. So we are going to plow right through this. Should take us about 45, 50 minutes. Few familiar names out there. So we've changed the format a little bit. If I have time towards the end, I will go through my top 5 that I'm currently working with regards to different types of down payment assistance programs and grants in the Detroit area. But for the most part, I find a lot of people really show up to find out what types of programs that are out there. So I've recently come across a database that I'm going to be sharing with people as well, too. So let me share my screen and we will get things started. Okay, so my promise is for you this evening. There is no sales pitch. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to give you good educational content on how to purchase a home with just a few $1,000s out of pocket by tapping into the different down payment assistance programs or grants that are currently out there right now. There are actually over 2,300 down payment assistance grant programs or tax credit programs that are available across the country. And I'm going to give you access to that database this evening. It's very easy. You just click on the link that I'm about to give you, type in an address, your personal information, and it'll actually tell you what properties, or excuse me, what programs are available based on your situation in the area. And then you just reach out to me. I'm happy to let you know the criteria just to make sure you do qualify for those different programs and connect you with a loan officer that can get you across the finish line. So no sales pitch this evening. I'm going to connect you with the 2,300 different programs and grants that are out there. I'm going to give you some qualifications for what these programs look for with regards to credit, income, things like that. I'm also going to show you how I structure some of these deals to get people across the finish line with just a few $1,000s out of pocket, and how we identify homes that actually qualify for these programs. It's still, as much as we start to hear the news across the country that the real estate market is changing, it's still a very competitive situation in the Detroit metropolitan area or southeastern Michigan. And that's just because the inventory levels, in my opinion, are still quite low. So with that being said, I didn't ask what areas are people looking in? What are some of the most of the people that I work with that are in the Detroit metropolitan or southeastern Michigan? Are there any other areas that people are looking in? I see somebody looking in Wayne. Okay, they're actually the state of Michigan program in Wayne works quite well. Anybody looking in Macomb, Oakland, Washtenaw County, Oakland, great. Okay. So in addition, we're also going to touch on how do you find good quality experience representation to get you across the finish line. So getting a hold of these programs is only part of the puzzle. The other part is finding the property and making sure you align yourself with some experienced individuals that know how to get your offers accepted and know how to get you across the finish line with only a few $1,000s out of pocket. So I always tell people, please, if you follow my steps, you can get there regardless of credit. And for those of you that are concerned, because there's always a handful of people that are concerned that maybe their credit may not qualify, there are quite a few programs that actually qualify with credit scores as low as 580 right now. So don't let that hold you back. I always tell people, please schedule calls with me. I'm happy to learn your credit situation and give you some advice as far as how to get a quick spike in your credit scores. And I actually do webinars that follow up to this one. So on Saturday, I'll be doing a credit boosting webinar, and that's how to get your credit score up 60 points in 60 days. That's Saturday at 10 a.m. Let me actually put that link in right now. Okay, so here is a link to the credit boosting webinar on Saturday. So click that link and register. That's a much smaller audience. Usually I don't have more than maybe 5-10 people on that webinar. So I'm able to give a lot of individual coaching based on your situation. Or feel free to schedule a call with me. Happy to learn your situation, put myself in your shoes and tell you exactly what I would do. So I always like to give you some success stories along the way. This is a 3-bedroom brick house. It was actually on Freeland, and Emily ended up purchasing this house. I think it was $117,000. She was able to get $33,000 in grants, and grants are actually free money. She could have sold that house the next day and kept the whole $33,000. So she was able to tap into a 3% gift program, which went towards her down payment. She was able to get another grant of $5,000 to cover some of her closing costs, an additional $500 grant to cover her appraisal, and $25,000 grant through the city of Detroit. So all in, she was over $33,000, and she only needed to bring $200 to closing. At the time we made the offer, we only needed $500 for a deposit from her out of pocket. I think she paid for a home inspection too, and then the appraisal. So, but she was able to get the appraisal money back, and she was able to get the inspection money actually on this one program back as well too. So very, very happy for Emily. All right. This evening, who is this designed for? Well, this webinar is designed for people that are just tired of renting, tired for the consistent rental increases that have been happening over the past few years, people that are tired of landlords not making repairs or even what I would classify as slumlords. There's no shortage of landlords out there just taking payments and not doing anything to maintain the houses. And people that are they're just tired of the uncertainty of whether or not their lease is going to get renewed, or worse, I'm running into a fair amount of landlords that are just selling the houses and not even giving the renters an opportunity to purchase it. So different type of market right now where people can actually pull that off. I also get a fair amount of people that just get tired of paying off their landlord's mortgage. And lately I had somebody share with me, and this was kind of an eye-opening moment. She shared with me, because she was actually renting a 2-bedroom apartment, and she was only paying $800 a month, which was dirt cheap. She was actually along Joy Road in the city. So that reason that it was probably a lot more or less expensive. But the reason that she moved forward was she just wanted to show her kids that there was something more than just renting. So, I mean, the older I get, I don't need much. And she was more along that mindset where it really wasn't for her. It was just to lift that next generation up. So that really struck a chord with me. So I certainly appreciate her sharing that story. And we're working with her right now to find a house. So here's another situation. This was Daniel actually purchased this one from his mother's estate. So his mother passed away, and we were able to navigate a purchase where we tapped into a $25,000 grant where we used 15,000 of it to cover his down payment. And it was about $7,500 for his closing costs and escrows. So we were able to tap into it just about the whole $25,000. So he was able to get into this with no money out of pocket. So, and keep his mother's home. So next one. So my goal for you this evening, I find that my job is really giving people the confidence that they can actually do this and get across the finish line. Don't let your mind hold you back. There's a lot of self-doubt out there when it comes to purchasing a home. I understand that. Heck, I've been there myself. Okay. There's always these little seeds of doubt in the back of our mind that we just can't do it. And I'm telling you, if your income's there, I'll get your credit there. Whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, I've worked with people for the duration. So I always tell people, schedule a strategy call with me, or a vision call, as I like to call them. And what we'll do is I learn your situation, put myself in your shoes, and tell you what I would do. We'll map out a plan. Whether it's 2 months, 2 years, doesn't matter. So whether your credit's in order now or you need help, doesn't matter. Schedule that call with me. Take me up on it. I'm happy to let you tap into my experience. I've been doing this quite some time. I actually got my license back in 1987. So I don't even care to add up how many years that's been, longer than I care to remember. So in addition to giving people the confidence that they can get this done, I always like to dispel the rumors out there or the misbeliefs that are out there that you need a lot of money to buy a house. Most of the programs that I connect people with, you just need a couple of $1,000s, maybe 2, maybe 3 at the outside. I have people that come to me and they're like, John, you know what? I really don't have much money at all. I'm like, okay, we'll work with you. 500 today, 500 in a few weeks, 500 at closing. There's ways to structure this. I just need to know your situation. And as long as the communication level is there, I'm very easy to work with. Also, like to dispel, you don't need good credit. There are several programs that I work with right now where your score just needs to be above a 580. So if you're in the mid 500s and you've got some credit cards that we could possibly manipulate those balances, or there's a few other techniques that we have out there to build credit quickly, it's not challenging for me to get somebody from a 550 to a 600 within 30 days. I just need to know what your situation is to do it. The other side of it is, a lot of people think that they need fixed income. They can't afford it. Well, there are programs for fixed income right now. One of the situations that I'm going to show you this evening, not only was the person on a fixed income, and I'm not going to share who it is, but one of them was actually basically on Section 8. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's assistance for their house. So we were actually able to use the Section 8 income and add that to her fixed income. And we had enough money to buy a house from that. So there's a lot of different ways to get people across the finish line. I just need to know what your situation is. So I enjoy helping people and show people routinely how they can achieve their home buying goals. My only asks for you this evening are 2 things. If you could please, when you have an opportunity, go out to my Facebook page. And I'm going to put that link in here. If you could go to my Facebook page, follow and friend me there, and my YouTube page. I'm going to give you that one too. So if you could go to those 2 platforms and follow me. Hey, if you don't have a Facebook, go to YouTube. Just follow, friend me. more importantly, probably YouTube. So if you go out, follow me, click the alert button. Anytime I post new content, you'll get an alert. And we are making an effort to post all of these webinars after we're done. We're also splitting them up into different categories and sending them to you too. Thank you very much, Stephanie. I appreciate that. So those are my asks for you this evening. I'm going to ask you to make a phone call to schedule a call with me shortly. But a lot of people always ask me, what is the why? Why do I do this? Well, it wasn't too long ago I found myself in a position that was very uncomfortable. And it's still uncomfortable with me sharing it today. But about 10 years ago, I was in the market and was rebounding from just a terrible meltdown. So I had a pretty successful career in the mortgage world. I spent over 25 years doing mortgages, had an interest in a title company that did quite well. And then, gosh, it had to be about 15 years ago, maybe 13 years ago, that all came crashing down when, unfortunately, a bookkeeper had embezzled money with my title company, and myself and my partners had a very tough road or spiral down. Fortunately, everybody was made whole, but unfortunately, we couldn't keep the doors open because all the money had to go to make everybody whole, of course. So that was a very, very long, painful process. Thought we still were doing well after that because I still had the mortgage company. Back then, we were doing more rehab loans for investors that were looking for private money. And unfortunately, when the meltdown hit, we thought we were in a pretty good spot, but we did our banking with Chase, and Chase just yanked our warehouse line, and it was a death spiral from there. So just when I thought things couldn't get any worse after the title company mishap, then came the mortgage warehouse line, and it went down hard from there. So that was a pretty big mental blow, financial blow, you name it. After that, I just checked out. So those two businesses going down actually pushed me right into bankruptcy. I lost my home, couldn't get any lower, so I thought. So anyways, I went over to the automotive world where I sat in a automotive finance chair for a while, and boy, I didn't like that. Did stay there for about 2 years in order to rebuild my credit so we could actually buy a home again. So for those of you that don't know it, you can buy a home 2 years after bankruptcy. Okay. And it's actually very easy to build credit after a bankruptcy. Once your bankruptcy is discharged, getting somebody from a low 500 credit score to even above a 700 isn't too challenging. The algorithms are actually very friendly. They know you got to pass on it. It's just a function of rebuilding credit and making sure you stay on track with it. The one thing that tripped me up was I had a foreclosure in there, so I had to wait 3 years. So if you don't have a foreclosure, you can get something done in 2 years after a bankruptcy. If you do, you got to wait 3 years, okay? But at the end of the 3 years, I was in, okay? And my wife and I, we were buying a house again. The downside and why I do this is I was actually entitled to a down payment assistance program because I was just rebuilding my income and everything. And right before closing, the loan officer shared with me that I didn't need it. And I was like, hey, that's what we applied with. That's why we went through you. And he's like, well, your wife had money in a retirement account and you could just pull that out. And it was late in the game. I felt like we were pressured. My wife wanted the home that bad. We actually did it. Okay. And we took the money out of a retirement account, which it's painful for me to even think about that. It really irks me that somebody did that to me. And I'd like to make sure that that doesn't happen for people in the future. So that being the case, that's what really motivated me to get back into real estate about 10 years ago and start educating people on these different down payment assistance programs. Even to this day, every now and then I'll get a loan officer that says, hey, John, Mr. and Mrs. Jones don't really need the down payment assistance money. Well, I have to redirect those people. So I'm a firm believer. If I point you in a direction, unless you want to switch, that's up to you. But I do not want to be that person that's kind of like a bait and switch. And that's what I felt like what went on with me. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen to anybody else. So that's what got me back into it. That was kind of my messy world at the time and what brought me here today. So I started doing these down payment assistance and grants education forums about 3 years ago. Prior to that, I was doing these on one-on-one basis, one phone call after another. So when I discovered these webinars, now it kind of opens the floodgates. So I don't know how many people we have on this evening, but some weeks it's 30, some weeks it's 130. So I don't think we didn't really run a lot of ads for this particular webinar. So probably don't have a whole lot of people on, but just the same. So anyways, that's why I do it. That's my story. So you got a fair amount of mistakes that I've made. So I've got a pretty good educational background, things that I can teach people, and that's kind of how I roll. So the topics that we want to cover this evening. Okay, how to access some of these programs. Well, the first program I want to tell you, you know what? I want to give you this story here. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that to you there. I had somebody else here that I wanted to share with you. Okay, here's Tashiana. Tashiana actually purchased a home on Rosemont in Detroit. She purchased this one for $123,000. She actually tapped into a $25,000 down payment assistance program. And there is a $25,000 available through the state of Michigan right now. So the Detroit program's gone, state of Michigan's here, and someone just shared with me a HOP program that was offering up to $20,000. So there's some pretty big programs out there, and I'm going to give you the tool to tap into, so where you can see all the programs that are actually out there in just a moment. But Tashiana ended up buying this 2-story colonial, and the photo on this one doesn't do it justice. It was just side kitchen was all redone. She purchased this one for $123,000. She only needed a $500 deposit at the time that we made the offer, and only needed a little over $1,000 at closing. So she was able to use $20,000 of the down payment, or $20,000 of the $25,000 for her down payment, and then $5,000 for her closing costs. So very happy for Tashiana. Next one, I've got someone asking about other areas of the country. Yes, we do have the ability to connect with programs all over the country, and I'm actually going to give that to you right now. Ms. Rhonda, just caught your message out of the corner of my eye here. So out of the topics tonight, accessing programs. Here you go. NoDownPayment.app. Now, if you just type this in your browser, NoDownPayment.app, you will get access to the account or to the platform that I use, okay? First, I want to tell you about down payment assistance versus grants. You're going to hear me use those almost interchangeably, but there is a difference. So down payment assistance programs are typically second mortgages that may or may not have to be repaid. Sometimes there's no payments and they're forgivable after 3 or 5 years. Sometimes you actually have to make payments on them. So they're all different. Grants, on the other hand, typically are free money, and grants are typically issued at the time of closing. There are some that have ownership triggers in there. So, for example, if City of Detroit had a $25,000 grant a few months ago, you have to own the home for 5 years to keep all that money. So there are some ownership restrictions there. Everyone's a little bit different, but ideally we want to try to tap you into grants before we look at down payment assistance. Okay. Now, how do we access all of these programs? So here we go. I'm taking you out to this website. If you go to NoDownPayment.app, it's going to take you right to No Down Payment Money is out there. Let's see if you're eligible. You can click on that or scroll down. Just enter an address, or you can do a general search area. So if I take, let's just say here, Wayne County, Michigan, boom, 19 grants covering the county. if I get more specific, so that's 19 different programs. If I get more specific and type in an address, let's see if I've got a default address here. Here's one of Mark Twain. Okay, 23 programs. If I enter a sale price, let's just say 150,000. Still 23 programs. Number of units, how many people live in it? Do you currently own a home? Yes, never owned a home. No, but did within the last 3 years. Ideally, you want to be a first-time home buyer. And a first-time home buyer for almost all of these programs is defined as someone that just hasn't owned a home within the last 3 years. So if you owned a home 10, 12 years ago and lost it, as long as you haven't had anything titled in your name in the last 3 years, you're going to be a first-time home buyer and you'll qualify for these down payment assistance programs or grants. So never owned a home. It does ask what your income is. So let's just say 50,000. Oops, not 500. And look at 21 programs. Get details. It's got a few other questions. It might give you some more, but just enter your name, email address, phone number. Just if you actually say prefer to get contacted by phone, then you're going to start getting some texts there as well, where we'll text the lists to you. And if you're working with a real estate agent too, just enter that information, get program details, and then that information will be emailed to you. Just that easy. Okay. So that's how you access. Now this is available all over the country. So somebody was asking about, I think it was either Indiana or Illinois. You enter that address in there, nodownpayment.app. Here it is. Let me go back. Everyone in meeting. And sorry, I talk to myself when I do this. There you go. Nodownpayment.app. So if you put it up in your search bar, it sometimes goes through. This is a easier link for me to do it. If for any reason you have any difficulty with it, just give me a text and I'll send it to you. And let me give you my cell phone number, 248-252-7283. Just shoot me a text. I'll be happy to send it to you. Okay. Number 2, qualifications. So what types of qualifications do these programs have? Well, when it comes to getting approved for a loan, they're always going to look at your income. So you've got to have some income. It's got to be stable income or predictable income in order to be used. They don't like to see more than 45% of your income go to your house payment and whatever debts are showing up on your credit report. Now, they will look at your credit too, and they want to see where your money's coming from. And the house has to be in actually halfway decent condition. It's got to be in habitable condition, okay? So for income, a lot of these programs do have income restrictions. They vary, they're all over the map. So I don't want to touch on that, but there is a program for almost every income level. There are actually some programs that have no income restrictions. So if you happen to have an income that's above 100,000 and you need help, yes, there are programs out there to help you. You do have to have 2 years of income, okay? Doesn't have to be 2 years in a row. So if you have a little bit of a gap in there, you were off work for a few months, we just need a letter of explanation. We just need to show 2 years. It could be over a 2.5-year period. If you have a little gap, not a big deal, okay? Especially if it's in the same field. They look at W-2 people, very easy to work with. 1099 people, you're considered self-employed. Anytime you're 1099 or self-employed, we have to have tax returns, and they're going to average your income over a 2-year period. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, when you schedule your call with me, it's great if you know where your income is and whatever debts you have that are showing up in your credit report, and a good idea where your credit score is. Okay. Like I said earlier, they don't want to see more than 45% of your income go to your house payment and whatever debts are showing up on your credit report. Now, with regards to your credit, there are programs for scores 580, there's 620 tiers, 640, and 680. Those are typically the hot spot. Those are the hot spots. Once your credit score, if you have credit scores above a 680, there's a lot of options, and we can actually start stacking grants. Some of those people that I talked about earlier, when they were getting 33,000, they had good credit, and we were able to take a 25,000, stack a 5,000, stack a 20. So we were able to stack the grants right on top of each other. Okay. So when it comes to your credit, they don't like to see recent late payments or collections. So if you have something within the last few months, it's just going to take a little bit of time. Best to schedule a call with me, and I can kind of coach you through how to handle those. Sometimes we can get recent late payments that are one-time things removed. If it's a collection from a medical, those typically don't play into it. Other collections, sometimes we can get those paid quickly and maybe get those removed. So, but if you do have credit issues, let me throw that link in again. Here is a link to my credit webinar. Now, on that webinar, we're going to teach you how to get your credit score up 60 points in 60 days. That's the crux of it. Okay. So I see a lot of questions coming in right now. So keep in mind, I'm going to go back through and I'll answer all those questions at the very end. All right. Assets. Whoops. When it comes to assets, you just need to have, say, $2,000 to $3,000 out of pocket. Okay. If you don't have that, and we have to sharpen the pencil, we can do that. I just need to know up front. There's a lot of ways to get people across the finish line. There's always a couple of people a month that I work with that just aren't prepared for it, but they are tired of renting, okay? So if you don't have the money today, we'll just work out a path, okay? So just let me know. Keep in mind, the home does have to be in good habitable condition. It's got to have a functioning kitchen, bathroom. They have to have the mechanicals, the furnace, water heater. Now, keep in mind, some areas, every now and then, there's riffraff that take things out of the houses. We can work with that, okay? There's always several houses I sell a month where the furnaces are gone. We'll have them put in prior to closing. These programs will not let you buy a house unless you have a furnace and water heater in there. And most sellers and agents that we work with know that. Okay, so it's not a surprise. All right, how do we structure these transactions? Well, to give you a feel for it, this is a house, Brittany in East Point. Sale price was $150,000. Taxes are about $2,000. Closing costs are $2,000. Homeowners insurance about $1,500. Title insurance $1,200. So without any down payment, your closing costs are pushing about $7,000. And that's probably about average nowadays. Then it comes down to the down payment assistance or grants. So if you look in the lower left-hand portion or quadrant of our screen, you'll see the down payment might be $6,000. Total closing costs are $6,700, gives you a total purchase price of $12,700. Well, if I can get you a down payment assistance program or a grant for $10,000, means you're only going to need $2,500 due at closing. And if we need to sharpen the pencil more, we can. If it's a zero down program, then hey, we don't have to worry about the down payment. We just have to worry about your closing costs. And we can always ask a seller to help out on that side. So it's not challenging for me to help you identify houses that have been on the market for a few minutes where the sellers are actually open to paying closing costs. And there's ways that the lenders might actually help contribute to your closing costs over and above the down payment assistance or grants. Okay, so there's a lot of levers for us to pull, buttons to push to take care of the funds. I just need to know what your situation is. Now, with that being said, I'm going to schedule, I'm going to put my calendar out here. Without fail, I always start to book up very quickly after these webinars. So with that being said, here's a link to my calendar. I always tell people, click this button right now, jump on my calendar, carve out a time, and I'll give you a call at that time. And during that call, I'm going to want to know, hey, what's your income like? What's your credit like? What kind of bills do you have on a monthly basis? And I'll be able to tell you with a high degree of certainty what programs are going to be the best fit, how long it's going to take, or if we need to make some maneuvers, is it going to take 30, 60, 90 days? Happy to let you know. Okay, so take me up on that. Click that link to book a call with me. All right, next thing, here's another home. April actually purchased this home. This was actually on Philadelphia. Really nice house. She tapped into the 3% gift program, $5,500 grant, and $25,000 grant. So April was able to get $32,900 in grant money. And I think her payments were actually $700 a month. So we were able to use that on a house below $100,000. So certainly a lot cheaper than what she was paying in rent. Okay, next one. Finding homes. How do I find homes that will qualify for these? So the easiest way, well, first thing we want to do is we want to start looking for houses. Okay. I don't think it's ever too soon to start looking for houses and know how your money spends. And the reason I say that is the quicker you get in tune with how your money spends, when value is placed in front of you, you're not going to think twice. You're just going to jump and do it. Okay. Because that's how we have to do it. Okay. When quality and value is put in front of you, you can't think about it nowadays. You have to move forward. So here is a link to my website. On this website, you'll see it's a direct feed from the Realtor database. So that's the database that feeds a lot of the big platforms out there, Zillow, Trulia, places like that. So MI City Search. Just click that link, it'll take you right to it. So yes, put an R in there. Okay. Now, as far as locating quality homes, right now, I always coach people to look at the houses that have been on the market at least 2 to 3 weeks. And the reason I do that is right now, about 20% of all the transactions are falling apart. People they're losing jobs, their financial status has changed. All of a sudden, a late payment on a car or a credit card, their credit score is tanked. For whatever reason, houses are coming back on the market. Nothing wrong with the house. It was just a bad experience and the buyer just didn't qualify anymore. So what I run into is that it's a lot less competitive. These sellers have already mentally moved on. They've already mentally sold their house. The fact that this last deal came unwound is something that it's just a tough conversation. And as a result, they don't want to put the house back on the market. They don't want to deal with this any more than they have to. So as a result, they're a little bit more amiable to working with some of these down payment assistance programs and grants and things like that. So in addition, I find that the sellers are just, well, they're more well-grounded, I guess is the best way to put it. We also want to ask ourselves, why is it back on the market? Was it a deal falling apart? Maybe it was overpriced and the appraisal came in lower, and now the seller might be chasing the market. Maybe there was just too much deferred maintenance and the home inspection tore it up, or the taxes are too high, or there's assessments that popped up. Could be one of many reasons. A lot of these we can sniff out in the beginning. But I always tell people, look at some of that older inventory and you're going to find it a lot more pleasurable experience. Like I said, the sellers are more flexible. One thing you can do is when you're looking at the houses, if it's been in the market for a little while, look a little bit more closely at the images. Okay, is that roof in good shape? Are the ceilings and all the rooms clean? Or do they have stains on them that might show you water? Are the floors in decent shape? What is the basement like? What are the basement walls? These are things that a lot of people don't look at. These are what my seasoned eyes always look at, okay? I try not to get caught up on the cosmetic things. I'm looking at the structure. For me, it's all about quality. You can always repaint a house, put carpet in, things like that. I would rather have you give me a good house with a good roof, dry basement. Those are the first couple things that I look for. So I also look for the houses built in the 50s. For whatever reason, 50s brick houses, some of the best construction I think this country's ever seen, and there's tons of them in southeastern Michigan. Okay, so that's my suggestion with regards to how to find quality homes. Next thing is experience. When it comes to working with these types of transactions, you've got to work with experience. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you really want to partner with a lender that has done these programs and does them routinely. They know the guidelines inside and out. Whenever there's a hiccup, they can go to the powers that be and the powers that be are underwriters. Underwriters are the people that approve the loans. We want to work with seasoned loan officers that don't have an issue walking into an underwriter's office and hashing a deal out. Hey, why this condition? Why can't we make this work? Or what can we do to make this work? Okay. So when I give you these programs, please let me make that introduction for you. Do not just call up a lender and say, hey, I want to get a destination home program at Flagstar Bank. If you call Flagstar Bank, I guarantee you're going to go into a call center and I don't know, they probably have 1,000, 2,000 loan officers. Chances are they don't know who I am. So if you run into some headaches or hiccups, they're not going to have a conversation with me. But if it's somebody that I refer you to and there's a hiccup or a speed bump, I can pick up the phone and ask them, hey, what's going on? How do we get past it? Or what I always get is, you know, John, I went to one of your webinars. I decided to go to whatever, Bank of America, and the guy's not returning my phone calls. Well, he's not going to return mine either. But if I send you to somebody I know, I guarantee you I send them enough business where they will return my phone call. Okay. So let me make that introduction so I can share your story, communicate what your goals are, and more importantly, how we can have accountability that they're going to get things done under a time frame that's going to be acceptable to you. Okay. What we don't want to do is build false hope. We want to make sure that when we tell you you're pre-approved, you are pre-approved. The last thing we want is to get you and your family excited for a move, go through the whole exercise, and then have the rug pulled out. And I'm telling you, experienced loan officers will not let you get that far. They don't want to clog up their pipeline any more than they have to. They'll always give you ideas or things, or they'll give you solutions before clogging up their pipeline. So they'll say, hey, maybe not right now, take care of A, B, and C. Okay. And that's how I roll too. Okay. We'll give you a timeline and how to fix things. So now with regards to the realtor side of it, that's what I do. Okay. And for you, this is what I do. I identify all the programs that are out there. I'm going to find out the best program that you're going to qualify for in the areas that you're looking, find out what's available. We're going to try to tap into grants first. If not grants, then we're going to try to go to the down payment assistance programs. Most of the time, I want to see that you're approved for maybe 2 or 3 different programs. So when I send you to a lender, I want to send you to a lender that's got a plan A. And if that one doesn't work, I want a plan B. Okay. Last thing I want to do, like I said, is get you excited looking at a house and not have a good plan B. I also want to show you how to structure the transaction. Okay. So when you go to the lender, if I tell you it's going to be $2,000 out of pocket, I want to make sure that's $2,000 out of pocket and hold them accountable for it. In addition to helping you structure it, I'm going to help you negotiate things with the seller and create the most favorable contract possible to get your offer accepted. And like I said, help you navigate that final mortgage approval, and most importantly, keep your final numbers in line at closing. Doesn't happen very often. Most of the lenders I've worked with for a few years. So they know when I tell someone a couple $1,000s, I mean a couple $1,000s. And if it doesn't work out that way, then we need to figure out what we have to do to make it work that way. Or did something change dramatically where it changes a little bit? So stuff does happen. I get that. Okay. But more importantly, the older I get, I don't like surprises. And I don't think most people do. So anyways, so that's my job. So I'm a big firm believer that experience gets it done. All right. So this evening, we talked about the 2,300 different programs that are out there, the different qualifications for the programs, how to structure the deals with only a couple $1,000s out of pocket, how to find homes that qualify for these different programs, and the fact that you want to work with some experienced people and you want experienced representation getting across the finish line. Now, with regards to that program, let me put this up again because I know I'm going to have people asking for this one. This is just such a great tool. There you go. NoDownPayment.app. Go there. You're going to see. You're always going to see. No, sorry. I think I just sent that the wrong one. Let me go to everyone. Okay, so NoDownPayment.app. So go to that, enter a house, you'll find, enter an address or an area, you'll see all the programs that are out there or available for that particular property. Next thing I want to send you. Oh, actually, that was Tashiana. Okay, next one I want to credit repair webinar. Let me give you a link to that one. Good. Now, here is a link to my calendar. NoDownPaymentRequired.org/book. You're going to get a reminder after we disconnect this evening to book a call with me. So on that call, I want to know, what's your income like? What's your credit like? What are your goals? Is your goal to move in 1, 3, 6, 9 months or a year? Doesn't matter. I want to learn what your goals are. And I want to find out what's holding you back. Okay. Is it credit? Well, let's do our credit repair webinar. It's probably not money, because even if you're going to go rent another house, you're going to have to come up probably with $2,000, $3,000 easily to rent a place. Right now, heck, a 2-bedroom apartments are going for almost $1,300, $1,400 a month. So $1,300 first month's rent, $1,900 for security deposit, 1.5. So you're looking at $3,000 just for rent. Hey, somebody just chimed in, $4,000 to rent. So less expensive actually buying a house right now. So do not let that hold you back. Okay. And don't let your mind hold you back either. I find a lot of people just doubt themselves. I find that I need to find a better way to communicate and get past that self-doubt. I've been there. I know what it's like. Heck, it took me 2 months to get my last mortgage approved. I couldn't believe it. I've been in the business. We had all of our I's dotted and T's crossed. And it's not like I had, business income. I was at a W-2 job, so it didn't make any sense. So I just want to make sure you don't encounter that same experience. So I always ask people, what's holding you back? And more importantly, what's the cost of inaction? What's the cost of not doing anything? Well, the cost is you're going to stay in your current rental situation and continue to watch those rents go up. Right now, they are forecasting rents to go up 5% a year for the next 5 years. Okay. If somebody would have told me 5 years ago that the 2-bedroom apartment would be $1,350 in the Detroit metropolitan area, I would have said that was crazy, because 5 years ago, the 2-bedroom apartments were $1,000 to $1,100. In 5 more years, they're predicting them to be at 5% increase, $1,700 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. And when I say that, that's the Tri-County area. That's Detroit, Wayne, Oakland County. That will be the average in 5 years. And I know there's some people out there say, well, the prices will probably go down. No, they just won't go up as fast. So rents never go down. They just don't increase, but not so much, especially in the price range that I work with. And the reason is the rental market is so tough. That's why it's tough to actually find houses right now. Although my team and I are pretty darn good at it. Okay. So schedule that call with me. Take me up on it. I really want to learn your situation. And like I said, whether it's today, next month, next year, doesn't matter to me. I literally do have some people that have been with me for a couple of years now. In fact, I think some of the names that are popping up on this list here, I'm sure that have been with me over a year now. So I appreciate you hanging in there. And I'm a firm believer, there's always our time and there's his time. And unfortunately, his time is never fast enough for me, but I've learned to live with it. So anyways, with that being said, what kind of questions do we have here? Start chatting. No, let's see. Let me go back. Okay. We're going to jump into those. All right. Got it. Oh, okay. Looks like Diane. Oh, please feel free to reach out to me. You know what? We've got a small enough audience. I'm going to put my cell phone number in again. 248. Oops. Oops. Here's my cell phone number. Please schedule a call with me or give me a call direct. So I am a phone jockey. I spend a lot of time on the phone. If I'm not available, please leave a message or shoot me a text and I'll call you between calls. Okay. Got it. So happy to help you, Diane. All right. Ms. Rhonda, good evening. Oh, I appreciate you saying that, Stephanie. Patrick Oliver, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Ms. Patricia, good. And Evansville, Indiana. So we touched on the down payment assistance. Many times they have to be repaid. Sometimes they're just interest only, or excuse me, no interest, no payments. You just have to pay it back when you sell the house. You might get free use of your state's money. So I'd have to look into specifically what Indiana's is, but there are a lot of programs out there that, Ms. Rhonda, where you probably won't have to pay it back. So schedule a call with me. I'm happy to go through that exercise with you and connect you with somebody in your area too. Yes, Stephanie, you are right. Grants are free money. Don't have to pay it back. Got it. Hope you got Alexa. Did you get a link to that website? Okay. 1099 income is considered self-employed. Someone's asking 1099. So if you are a 1099 employee, we do have to see your tax returns for 2 years. And what they're going to look at is they're looking at your tax returns to see what business expenses you're writing off. So, and sometimes we can add the expenses back in. So I need to see what your adjusted gross income is. And if you do have some one-time capital expenses, we might be able to bump your income up a little bit, but a little bit more tricky, Ms. Rhonda. So give me a call. Happy to learn your situation. But before you do that, let's see where you're pull your tax returns out so we can have a more productive conversation. If you are a retiree and you are on a fixed income, 2 of the 3 people I talked about this evening were on fixed incomes, Social Security. Okay. And they were able to buy houses, Donna. So don't let that stop you. Give me a call. There are some programs that will allow you to buy a multi-unit, and sometimes we can use the income from that second unit to add to your income to get you across the finish line. So now we have to look at maybe some multi-units. Not that you want to be a landlord. I'll be the first to admit I'm not a good landlord. So I'm not a good landlord because I tend to believe everybody's sob story. So I've been taken advantage of on that side. So let's see here. Got it. And didn't see your calendar. So the calendar, Ms. Rhonda, is that no down payment required.org/book. Click that. That's to book a call with me. Okay. Who are some of the lenders that I work with? Well, there's Flagstar, Bank of America, Honest Mortgage. I just referred one to. There are a few. Belong Lending. I referred one to yesterday. So it depends. I find that there are several classifications. There are big banks. Chase, Bank of America, okay? They're sitting on a lot of money, okay? For example, Bank of America was fined about $3 billion for some of the shenanigans that happened in the meltdown in 2012. I think they were fined in 2013, or they settled with $3 billion. What's crazy is the last time I spoke with a Bank of America rep, they were still sitting on about $2 billion of it. So they're just dripping it out. It's actually kind of ridiculous. But Bank of America offers about $17,000 in grants. So great option. And I'm happy to connect you with somebody at Bank of America. But I will tell you, Bank of America isn't really the most customer service driven organization. And by the time you're done, you're going to get frustrated. But I'm going to be upfront about it, but I don't know about you. I'll go through a little bit of frustration if somebody's going to hand me $17,000. Now, the other thing is they are very tough on credit too. Okay. So your credit scores have to be above a 640 to get something done with them on a lot of those programs. So a lot of different lenders out there. Happy to connect you with them. Okay. And someone's asking, oh, hi, Shannon. I didn't realize you were on here. Hey, so Shannon purchased a house from me. That's funny. Are you still with me, Shannon? Shannon, if you don't mind, I will add you to my my list. Oh, I see Tiffany was asking you, what's your story? If you're still there, I'd be happy to unmute you. Okay, let's see. Next question. Rent crazy. All right. Okay, these grants work in all cities and all counties. They don't. Okay, some of these programs change from city to city, county to county. Sometimes they change block to block based on census tracts. So, for example, one of my favorite programs, a Zero Down Destination Home program through Flagstar Bank, is all about census tracts. So I've had homes that qualify on one side of the street and don't qualify on the other side of the street. So it does change. So I just need to know the property address to really drill down for you. Donna's asking, how about credit unions? Well, I find that credit unions aren't very strong in this space. There are some that will do the state program. You have to look at it this way. The big banks obviously have money for it. The mid-level banks or second-tier banks, Citizens Bank, Flagstar Bank, Huntington Bank, these banks have a lot of money to push to the streets just because they have to comply with the Community Reinvestment Act. So they always find money to push to the streets. So whether it's theirs or not, they're always there. So that being the case, I always find those mid-level banks tend to be a lot more consistent and more flexible with credit, oddly enough. So credit unions just don't have the staff or the manpower to bring on a lot of those programs because you've got to write the grants and they have to have departments dedicated to them. And they're short runs, okay? Sometimes they're only funded with, several $1 million, which sounds like a lot, but when you start dripping it out in $20,000 increments, it starts to go very quickly, okay? So the credit unions really aren't geared for performing well on a lot of these down payment assistance programs or grants. All right. Okay, any other questions? All right, well, I'm going to put my link here one more time. Give everybody a moment. Okay. Reagan, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for attending. Okay, here is a link to my calendar to book a call. I will also put in my website to start looking at homes. And I'm really trying to get this YouTube page up. I've got I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I guess I never realized how important it was to post this content. So we started doing it about a month or so ago. So I'd like to get, I guess once we get up to 1,000 subscribers, things change quite a bit for us. And we'll be able to push. Dominic, thanks for scheduling a call. Looking forward to it. And let me get you this app right here. You're welcome, Stephanie. Thanks for coming. Hope you're enjoying the house. It's kind of, you would think a lot of people come back and watch my webinars even after they purchased a home. And you'd be surprised how many referrals I get just by doing it the way that I do it, just pay it forward mindset. So it's interesting because it's not the way that I rolled my life. I'm like the tail end of the baby boomers. And we were kind of raised where if you've got an idea, keep it to yourself. Someone will steal it. And I wish I would have just led with education earlier than 10 years ago. I probably know be message out to areas beyond southeastern Michigan. So if you know of people in other areas of the country, I'm happy to help connect them with different programs that are out there, get them pre-approved, and connect them with an agent that I'm happy to coach. Also, if there's always a few agents that stumble across my webinars, if there are any agents out there that are looking to serve, and when I say serve, I mean it, really help people. I have plenty of people that need help right now. So I'd like to bring in more people. So because there's just no end to the amount of people that need help right now. But I think it's important that everybody lead with that serving mindset. And so I'm kind of selective when I talk to different agents. Not all agents roll that way, oddly enough. So Clinton, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for attending. Okay, well, I hope everybody is scheduled to call with me this evening. If not, my automated texting software is going to start hammering you for that. So please don't be shy. Share your story with me. Let me put myself in your shoes, and let's figure out a plan to get you in a house. Whether it's 2 days, 2 months, or 2 years, doesn't matter to me. Yvette, thank you so much. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate your time this evening. It's a little after 8 o'clock, so hopefully you can get outside and enjoy the last bit of this beautiful weather we had today. Myron, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Lisa Miller, you're welcome. Thank you.